First, see a high-profile Republican on accident saying President Elon Musk or President Musk, it driving media narratives for like a week, and then inevitably causing it will be the final blow of the relationship that Elon Musk and Donald Trump have. Okay, that is, I will add that to my yearly predictions. I think that the dynamic is already on shaky ground. Elon Musk supports the new CR. Jeffries and White House support the new CR. No shutdown. Third time's the charm. Congress tries again to avoid a shutdown. Speaker Mike Johnson is rolling out his third plan to keep the government lights on, featuring a funding extension until March, aka kicking the can down the road. 110 billion for disaster relief and farmers. Gone is Trump's demand to raise the debt ceiling. Now Republicans are bickering, Democrats are side-eyeing, and a shutdown looms at midnight. It turns out, yes, this plan is passing. Elon Musk approves, so thank God. Our heavenly father, Elon Musk, has decided this one is good. Jeffries speaking now, thanking Dems for sticking together. Jeffries has been on the phone with White House Schumer and said Johnson all day too, talking about 100 billion in disaster aid as a win. Jeffries, the White House says it is a bill they are prepared to support. Schumer also shares that view. Jeffries did complain about broken trust with Republicans. Yeah, isn't there someone you forgot to ask meme, but with Elon Musk? Thank God he finally consented. The speaker did a good job here. It went from a bill that weighed pounds to a bill that weighed ounces. Ball should now be in the Dem court. Thank God. 11 dead now at Christmas market. Covered that yet? The number currently is 2. And I did cover it. I just got done. I didn't even actually get done covering it. But we sidestepped for a second to talk about the breaking news from the disaster that was averted. Oh my God, Ryan Grimm is on a TikTok. Ryan Grimm, get off my TikTok For You page. You are not a hot white girl. My TikTok For You page is supposed to be hot white girls, cats, and Call of Duty Dragon Ball Z. This guy never ended up responding, by the way. He just said left movement in East Europe is mostly post-USSR. And had no additional feedback at all. I was like, can you please explain to me what you mean? And he's like, nah, how about you watch the video? What video? Anyway, let's look at what the, I don't know what the meat looks like for this, this new bill. I don't know what they kept out of it, but I guess seemingly the biggest point of contention that was cast aside is the extension, is the January 2027 extension for no debt limit. That one they just took out of it, and I do feel like it's still very much like a Republican move to ask for a lot more and then turn around and dial it back. Ask for 10 things. First, you go to the table and you extract concessions out of the Democrats. Then when that continued resolution bill is about to be passed instantly, because there were already concessions that the Democrats had given to the Republicans in the previous continued resolution, they turn around and say at the last second, no, we shouldn't pass this. And then they say, we want 10 things. Okay? Take out like eight funding mechanisms out of the continued resolution, and then demand one thing that's like insane, right? And then they take out the insane thing, and they're still left with the 8 other things that they got out of the bill. And then the Democrats actually make it seem as though they won a massive victory here and are willing to concede. Democrats highlighted casualty of the spending fight, funding to combat pediatric cancer. But hey, look, they were graceful in their loss. Once again, you notice that? They get to drive a big blow to the heart of the Republican propaganda machine. Here are the 6 bipartisan policies that were taken out of the spending bill after Musk torched it. Okay, Bidaka Baba. Baba came in quick with the chicken tendies. Isn't Biden still president? How is Elon Musk involved here? No, Elon Musk is the real president, okay? Make no mistake. Okay, here are some of the things that were taken out that the Republicans wanted to take out, or Elon Musk specifically was advocating to take out of the bill. And this is still something that Jeff is reporting off of what the aides are saying, so we don't know the full details yet. My understanding per aides is that these are also out of what's about to be voted on. Provision aimed at ensuring food stamps are replenished for Americans whose benefits are stolen, probably as many as 300,000 affected. Number two, a series of changes to the operations of pharmacy benefit managers, middlemen in the medicine business that negotiate drug prices with pharmaceutical companies, e.g. attempted to end spread pricing, where PBMs charge a health plan for more for a drug than what they pay to the pharmacies to dispense it. So they took out the pharmacy benefit managers a part of this equation, which is ironic because it literally only serves like United Healthcare at a pivotal time when everyone seemingly is paying attention to how shitty United Healthcare is. Congress acted again on this bipartisan provision, because the for-profit healthcare sector is so corrupt and so gross and so bad at making pricing infinitely worse that even Republicans were like, yeah, we got to deal with this. Okay, so even this otherwise reactive bill was torched. Great stuff there. Fantastic. Pay hikes for members of Congress was taken out. Transferring control of the land in Washington, D.C., where RFK Stadium sits, to the district. No new funds here. PBM explained in the best way. I already covered it. I watched this video yesterday. Cruz Klobuchar bill aimed at cracking down on revenge is taken out as well. Don't know why they did that. That part is truly an enigma. I can't even talk. I genuinely don't understand why they took the revenge deepfakes provision out. I don't know. New and expanded restrictions on U.S. investments in China. That one was for Elon Musk. The bill is now much shorter, about 900 pages or so shorter. It funds the government and provides aids to farmers and natural disaster victims. It does not include a debt ceiling lift. Is it because of Elon and Grok? Is that why they don't? They have the deep fake provision taken out? That seems so stupid. Like I don't even understand that. I truly don't understand that at all. So yeah, let's watch what CNN is saying. Let's go live. Your boss on Elon government privatization. Yeah, we'll do that in a second. Let's see what CNN has to say about this bill. Well, they're not saying anything because they're on a ad break. Damn it. By the way, reminder that we do not have ad breaks on the broadcast, but you can still subscribe. Subscriptions will offer you many benefits like supporting the show, my editorial independence, and also numerous other goodies like the emotes that you can use site-wide. So, please subscribe for $6 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You can also get gifted a sub if you are lucky. Anyway, let's see what Fox News is saying.
I don't have the list of the Republicans who voted against this, but they would say what Tyrus is saying, is that we are voting against this, and they have to get Democrats.
If you subscribe, you can also send links.
We are not doing business as usual, but this is something that they had to come together and pass if they wanted to get it across the finish line and over to the Senate before midnight.
And it's really difficult to cut. In D.C., it's really difficult because everything is a program that somebody cares about. And so you're going to have a constituency that is angry
trades for, and that they're hearing from constituents and lobbyists about constantly. It will be interesting to see the difference in influence of President-elect Trump once he becomes president, and Elon Musk and the Doge caucus and all this. And we should note there are Democrats that are part of the Doge caucus formally when we get to March and they want to put through a long-term spending bill instead of just this 4 months. But I appreciate, just a little shout out for Hakeem Jeffries. We'll see over time if he lives up to Nancy Pelosi's legacy, but he keeps very good control of the Democratic caucus, and they fall in line with him, and he says, no, we're going to go no on this. We want these changes. Fine, we're going to go yes on this. And everybody lines up with him, and that makes me happy because it's going to be a difficult few years with opportunities to get stuff done with such a slim majority on the Republican side.
Well, but Charlie, now we get to do this again in March.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, everybody, but
you think
that was going to happen.
This is not the worst it's going to be. It's going to get much worse. But I do think it's interesting, an important thing to sort of take a step back and recognize that the only principled fight going on anywhere on spending is within the Republican caucus. Yeah. In the House and in the Senate, but it's within the Republican caucus. And the Democrats are playing, as they always do, and they're very good at it, and I don't necessarily blame them for doing it, but it's all political. And they're playing political games, they're playing mind games, and a smash and grab pork fest that is the only thing that lines them up to get to go along with these things. And I think that the only interesting argument, principled fight going on is among Republicans.
Well, look, the one thing they're going to have to get used to, the previous administration didn't remember anything and never held anybody accountable. I have all the confidence in the world that President Trump won't forget all of this, and he will hold people accountable. And there will be, like I said, this administration didn't fire nobody. There'll be firings. There'll be people who are going to get up out of their seats. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. As you're looking at the vote now, and as Chad Pergram told us moments ago, 363 in favor, 34 against. That's well past the 2/3 they need to get this thing moving. It now heads to the Senate. Of course, we will talk about all of this on Fox News Sunday this weekend and see if the government is indeed funded by then. And I anchor that show, Charlie.
Shannon.
Thank you. 29 again. Yeah. That's it for us. Have a great night.
For the 5th time.
Good evening and welcome to Washington. I'm Rich Edson in for Brett Baer. Breaking tonight, we are now less than 6 hours from the deadline to get a funding bill through Congress before the start of a partial government shutdown. But it appears that may be averted. House members apparently will pass the latest version of a stopgap measure.
Why are we listening to the great value Dave Bautista? How dare you?
And you're in the Situation Room. We're following major breaking news right now. The U.S. House of Representatives appears to be on the verge of approving a bill to avert a Fed down. The pared down plan winning support from both Democrats and Republicans after Donald Trump set off a scramble here in Washington when he tanked a previously negotiated bipartisan deal. Let's get right to our chief congressional correspondent, Manu Raju, is up on Capitol Hill. Manu, update our viewers on the very latest.
Yeah, this is on the verge of passing, Wolf, averting a scare at the last minute. A government shutdown just on the horizon in a matter of hours. But now the House is poised to pass this bill well over the threshold, the 2/3 majority needed to pass this bill that would keep the government open up until mid-March. Right now, it's a 366 to 34 vote. That's well over the 290 votes that would be needed, assuming all members are here and present. So that, and right now, it looks like it's broken down. A lot of Republicans in favor of it. Well, 170 Republicans voting in the affirmative, just 34 voting against it. And the Democrats, more Democrats have supported this. In fact, 196 Democrats. There's not a single Democratic no vote. Now, this came all after a scare over the last several days, and then the aftermath of Donald Trump intervening late and scuttling a separate bipartisan deal that had been reached. It appeared to be on a glide path to becoming law. Trump demanding major changes, including to include an increase of the national debt limit, something he wanted off the table. So we would have to
come on, CNN.
Deal with it in the next Congress. That is a
God damn it, got cooked.
Deal with it in the next Congress. That is a
all right, whatever.
Why are we doing 110 billion? I mean, maybe we could do 50 billion and ask again in a month or two whether it's being wisely spent or whether people are stealing the money from us. And so just larding out the money without doing any kind of conscious pay for it is a mistake.
The government funding episode underscores the headaches facing House Speaker Mike Johnson. He has a smaller majority next year.
I think the equivalent of what Mike Johnson has had to do over the last couple of weeks is like trying to eat a live porcupine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so he has eaten
the porcupine has been consumed.
Now this vote is still open. It should be closed momentarily here, and we're waiting for the actual vote count. But this bill will pass the House of Representatives. It is then on to the Senate to sync up, perhaps later tonight. The deadline is midnight. Rich?
Chad, it looked like this bill got some pretty solid support from Democrats here. Democrats still control the Senate at least for another few weeks. Do we expect the same result over there in the Senate?
Anytime you see a vote of this caliber, that many yeas, it's probably going to get through the other chamber here. In fact, it's just a question of time. We wonder how long they will take, but probably you could see a vote of 70 or 80 yeas on this bill in the Senate later tonight.
Is this the kind of thing where one senator can hold up the whole thing and make this go for a few days, or this close to the holidays, we don't expect that one of the 100 would do that?
Yeah, absolutely. You could have that happen because, again, you have to get unanimous consent and agreement to step on the gas and get around all the Senate procedures. Anybody could do that and really drag this out and force a government shutdown at that stage. We haven't gotten any signals of that. I've been asking around all day. Earlier in the week, nobody could quite tell us what they were planning to do. But what happens around this time of year, especially just before the Christmas holidays, is people want to get out of the building and get home and trim the tree and bake the cookies or whatever. So that might kind of give impetus for people to vote for this bill tonight and get home.
Okay. Chad Pergram live for us on the Capitol Hill. Chad, thank you very much. Well, got the panel here, Mark Thiessen, Molly Hemingway, Juan Williams. I'll just get a quick reaction from you guys. They got it done, it appears. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, so there was never, the choice right now is you've got a Democratic Senate, as you pointed out, a Democratic president, so there was never going to be a good bill. So the choice was a bad bill, which is what they had, or a CR. And they've basically chosen the CR with a little bit of a plus with the disaster rate in the Farm Bill. So they're trying to get out of jail for free at this point. The whole fight has been pushed aside. As for the Senate, I don't think anybody's going to, I agree with Chad, I don't think anybody's going to stop it. I remember I used to work for Senator Jesse Helms, who was used to hold up the Senate in knots in the old days, and one time he was holding up the Senate before Christmas, and somebody went up to him on the floor and said, Jesse, if you don't relent, we're going to be singing Silent Night here in the Senate floor. And he said, well, if you don't relent, we're going to be singing Old Lang Syne. I don't think that's going to happen this time.
You know, Molly, this is an extreme case of stopgap, right? This hasn't quelled any of the underlying questions that have been brought up over the last couple of days.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Americans are just looking at this and saying, Congress doesn't really have that many jobs. They're supposed to appropriate funds, and they're supposed to collect the funds. They've known this was coming all year. The fact that once again we're at the same precipice where we have to fund the government with hours to go, it shows just how broken Congress is. And I think when you look at this past election, Americans are saying, we're sick of how we're doing this. You know, we have this massive deficit, we have horrific debt, we have all these problems, and the people in Washington, not only are they not fixing it, they don't even seem capable of fixing it. So I think once everything gets through here, people are going to have much higher standards and much more focus on Congress, which really has played a big role and gotten away with a lot of things and not being held accountable for the mess that the country is in.
Yeah, Juan, we're here because Congress didn't pass any of the appropriations. It's like you want to go across the street and say, what is it you say you do here, guys, right?
Well, I mean, you know, you go back and you think about the fact that we've had Republican majorities, and you start looking back to Boehner, you know, come forward to Paul Ryan, and then, of course, you come through the recent years, and you understand what a difficult situation it has been for Speaker Johnson. He's got a divided caucus and people who don't want to compromise, and he's dealing with Donald Trump and apparently Elon Musk sending signals from afar, in some cases undercutting him. But so I think that what we've seen today, and what's the clearest signal to me, is that the dissension is among the Republicans. Hakeem Jeffries, the minority leader in the House, has gotten the Democrats to vote for this bill, but you haven't seen a unified force on the Republican side. And what is that signal going forward? I think I agree with my colleagues tonight in the Senate. People will vote for this and push it forward. But you think about the reason that this remains controversial is because they did not extend the debt limit, right? And what is that about? That's about the future of Republican plans to pass an extension of the Trump tax cut of 2017. And if you don't have that extension, then how do you do it? Where's the money coming from? What's the offset? What's the Trump agenda going forward? And will it have the support necessary on the Hill?
Well, to this point, I mean, I do think they are going to have to raise the debt limit. That's just something you have to get done. But you look at what's happened in Washington, D.C. in recent decades. I mean, Mitch McConnell was talking about not shutting down the government. When he was elected first time in D.C., I think we had 1.8 trillion in debt, and now it's 20 times that. I don't think you do have much disagreement between Republicans and Democrats when it comes to, you know, adding all this debt to the American taxpayer. But people are looking for change, and not just, you know, party-wise. They're just looking for people who will be serious and help the country with some problems.
One advantage Donald Trump has coming out of this, out of the dissension in the Congress that Molly points out to, is that because they didn't pass a budget this year, he's going to get 2 reconciliation bills next year. Normally, the president gets 1 budget reconciliation bill, but because they didn't pass a 2025 budget bill, he gets that reconciliation bill, and then he gets another one later in the year. Yeah. So he has 2 bites at the apple to do an all-Republican bill on taxes and spending. So he could come in, because of all that division, he could come in the first weeks of January and pass a tax cut for eliminating taxes on tips, eliminating taxes on overtime, Social Security, and all that, and just get that done in a few weeks, and then come back and do tax.
Guys, you want to know what? Because Senate parliamentarian. What if the Senate parliamentarian says, no, you can't do that? Over under on how fast that person would get fired. Literally, the moment that the Senate parliamentarian even thinks about such things, they would get fired.
disaster relief for those people impacted by the hurricanes, and it doesn't include extending or raising the debt ceiling, which Democrats viewed as an accelerated vehicle to extend the 2017 Trump tax cuts. But in the lead up to this moment, the president didn't make any statements. He stayed out of public view, and the White House framed that as a strategy, even as they had to admit that he hadn't even made contact with Democratic leaders in both chambers until earlier this afternoon, about 12 hours before the shutdown deadline loomed. Rank-and-file Democrats were describing a vacuum of leadership. Talks with half a dozen lawmakers generated this Politico headline, quote, "Biden is AWOL as Washington spirals into shutdown chaos." His absence really gave the GOP a counterpunch.
By the way, Joe Biden's still the president of the United States. Where is Joe Biden? Has anybody heard from Joe Biden?
The picture of a president still in office but not in charge was coming together long before Trump and Elon Musk scuttled the government funding plan, giving Biden some cover with that. Fewer and fewer public appearances lately, or even printed statements, lending liberal voices to more loudly question why Biden has been laying low.
Do you think Biden has quietly quit? Trump isn't president yet. A fact that's getting easier and easier to forget.
That now appears against the backdrop of a damning Wall Street Journal report alleging that White House staff have been working to manage the diminished president for years, restricting his interactions with lawmakers and even cabinet members, keeping meetings short, scripted, and ideally in the afternoon. Quote, "Senior advisors were often put into roles that some administration officials and lawmakers thought Biden should occupy." Now, the White House denied to the Journal that Biden has declined, but allies who first championed his re-election bid are now on defense.
I do not hang out with the president on the weekends. I don't spend time with him socializing and in person. My experience with him in the time up to that debate led me to believe that he was fully capable of competently leading our nation.
The White House called a lid around 5 p.m., clear sign that the president was betting that there would be plenty of blame to go around if the government did, in fact, shut down, because Trump had said that this would be a Biden problem to solve, but you had Trump and Elon Musk scuttling a bipartisan plan that the White House kept speaking up for earlier today. Rich.
Well, Jackie Heinrich live for us at the White House. Jackie, thanks very much. Breaking tonight, our other top story is overseas. At least 2 people are reported dead and dozens injured after a driver plowed his vehicle into a Christmas market in Germany. Authorities believe it was intentional and that the vehicle may have been equipped with explosives. Correspondent Alex Hogan has the latest tonight from London. Hello, Alex.
Hello, Rich. So this was a mass casualty event after people were enjoying a Christmas market and a car plowed into them at that event this evening. 2 people are dead, including one of them who is believed to be a small child. As many as 60 people are wounded, 15 of them facing serious injuries. Hospitals near Magdeburg, Germany were quickly put on high alert to prepare for a maximum casualty event. German officials tonight warning that the death toll could rise. Law enforcement, firefighters and rescue personnel set up a perimeter on the scene tonight as police cornered off the vehicle over concerns that it could be
Alex,
triggered.
Thanks very much for that. So we're going to have to cut you off here. We have Speaker Johnson now after the votes that succeeded in the House.
It's a big priority for us. This is America First legislation because it allows us to be set up to deliver for the American people. In January, we will make a sea change in Washington. President Trump will return to D.C. and to the White House, and we will have Republican control of the Senate and the House. Things are going to be very different around here. This was a necessary step to bridge the gap, to put us into that moment where we can put our fingerprints on the final decisions on spending for 2025. We also, in this bill, as you know, took care of Americans who desperately needed and deserved the assistance. We had a record hurricane season. Hurricanes Helene and Milton in particular did dramatic damage across at least 6 states. The Carolinas, Virginia, from Florida, Tennessee, all the way through. And they have been waiting for the federal government to assist. We did that tonight in this bill. We also took care of our farmers, many of whom were on the brink of collapse because of Bidenomics, frankly, because the inflationary cost of their inputs and the inability they have right now to get loans from the banks and the lenders to put their crops in the ground. to put the seeds in the ground in the spring. So we had to take care of that, and we did. We are excited about this outcome tonight. We're grateful that everyone stood together to do the right thing. And having gotten this done now as the last order of business for the year, we are set up for a big and important new start in January. We can't wait to get to that point. We encourage swift passage in the Senate now. They need to do their job as the House just did. We will all go home. I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Holidays, and a Happy New Year, because I hope not to see you until we get back after that. I was in constant contact with President Trump throughout this process. Spoke with him most recently about 45 minutes ago. He knew exactly what we were doing and why, and this is a good outcome for the country. I think he certainly is happy about this outcome as well. Elon Musk and I talked within about an hour ago.
Prediction: they're gonna, on accident, in the upcoming year, say President Musk.
In the world, I think it is. But we're going to get through this. We are going to unify this country, and we are going to bring the America First agenda to the people beginning in January. We cannot wait to get started. I hope you all have a great holiday.
All right, that's it for House Speaker Mike Johnson.
A Republican is, on accident, completely unintentionally, going to slip up and say President Musk, not Democrats. Democrats are already saying it to shit on Elon Musk, or to shit on Donald Trump.
Been in constant contact with President Biden? I don't think they have been. I mean, it's quite remarkable development. I mean, Trump is effectively behaving. He's not president yet, but he's effectively the president. Joe Biden, you know, they told us that Joe Biden was capable of serving 4 more years. He hasn't been able to serve the 2 months since the election. He fell asleep at a table in Angola. He's left a massive vacuum that Donald Trump has stepped in and filled. Donald Trump has had more of an impact on what's happening on Capitol Hill today than the sitting president of the United States.
It's almost like what you saw with all the foreign leaders the moment Donald Trump was elected. They're all going to Mar-a-Lago, treating him as if he were the actual president. It is kind of crazy right now.
I first see a high-profile Republican on accident saying President Elon Musk or President Musk, it driving media narratives for like a week, and then inevitably causing it will be the final blow of the relationship that Elon Musk and Donald Trump have. Okay, that is, I will add that to my yearly predictions. I think that the dynamic is already on shaky ground. You can't have 2 divas like that side by side. There's always gonna be issues with that. But it's especially bad when it reaches this like peak where, you know, Trump starts really getting insecure about his position and how much influence he has.
Much more on this after the break. We do have to take a break. An awful lot has happened. We'll be back with...
And yeah, no. In this process, all the liberals who have talked about how Biden is a mental dynamo will not be punished. Of course not. They will be rewarded. They will have their